Welcome back to Sunset Falls, folks. I know it's been a while since our last episode. I apologize, I had quite the busy week, but I'm excited to be back in Sunset Falls and working on our farm space. First things first, I actually want to rename this farm space Florence Agricultural Area, rather. Clearly doesn't quite flow off the tongue, so I think we're going to call this Empire Farms, and Orchard. Oh my gosh, don't put me on the spot here, clearly. So we now have the ability to put both. I mean, we always had the ability, but especially now, we want to focus on, given the name, not only having a farm space, but also having fruit fields and orchards, right? So I know I talked last week about us doing a kind of a terraced lawn farm build here, a terraced build, right? And I think that's still what we want to do. But let's do some quick math here really quickly and kind of find out, what would that look like? What would we have that look like if we were to set that up? So I'm actually just going to go through here and delete all this, kind of give us a clean workspace. Let's get a few of these little random bushes out of the way. And then just kind of take a quick look. We have like our 3 trees here, right? But let's hop into our escaping tool here and figure out basically if we go to, what am I looking for? Level terrain, right? All right, so this is like 45. Let's just pick this, 85, right? Oh, woof, okay. Let's make a slightly bigger brush here. And what I'm trying to do is basically figure out how high do you have to get for this to look like a terrace, right? Because if we take one of our small fields and turning anarchy on clearly does nothing here. So let's just kind of throw down a dirt road here. Boom, beautiful. And let's put a dirt road kind of right down along here, right? So what I'm trying to get a sense of is, will these look like 2 distinct terrace layers, right? Because I feel like people tend to underestimate how much the visual aspect of this really matters, right? So if I put an apple orchard up there, an apple orchard down here, okay, we're going to get the sense that those are 2 distinct different levels, right? And those are at, I believe it's, 85 and 46. So that's a difference of 40. I'm willing to bet we could actually go even smaller and go down to a distance of, let's say, 20, right? And the reason this is important is because I'm trying to figure out basically how many layers can we get into this, right? Because if you have to keep kind of stepping up, right? Kind of imagine almost like a pyramid where the block levels are going up and up and up. You have a smaller total radius or diameter or any sort of, those are obviously linear measurements, but any sort of like area measurement. The top of your pyramid, right, is kind of one single unit. Every time you go down, all of a sudden you have theoretically 9 units, right? So there's kind of like this exponential increase. Once we start cutting into this mountain, we're going to lose a lot of space really fast. So I want to make sure that we're being as economical with our space as possible, right? So let's actually go in here, set that to 85. Let's pull this down to 65 and let's see what this looks like. So now we're starting to see, again, this is roughly the 20 unit difference here. Again, it feels like rather arbitrary units to the best of my mind, but we will try to leave that alone for now. Let's, oh, that was terrible, wasn't it? Let's kind of curve something here. Again, this is just kind of for the purposes of comparison. I think we're going to try to stay away from any curved lines when it comes to our farm. Even that, I mean, that is pretty good, honestly. We went 20 and 40. We might end up splitting the difference at around 30, right? We'll see how it goes. But that was a great experiment for me. What that tells me is that basically anything above 20 will be good to go with, right? So I think we can still respect the topography here and figure out how we can really make something interesting without having to worry too much about how much we're cutting out, right? So first things first, let's figure out our pathway up the mountain. That's kind of how we did prospect mineral industry. I have to be enunciating a little bit more. See, we go away for a week and the whole thing is just is new to me again. So, I mean, these guys, they're full of ore. I'm not 100% sure. They don't have enough buyers for their products, apparently. Well, let's empty that. One would think you could always just kind of export this kind of thing. I don't know. Can we actually see what's our cash flow right now? Specifically in terms of our industry, it's interesting. We're actually not even turning a profit over here. I wonder if that's just because we aren't really doing too much with this ore. Like this ore, we kind of have this smaller factory region over here, and we are just kind of getting our rotary kiln plant online. But theoretically, we are creating both minerals and glass, and we're exporting those instead. But we'll kind of see how that goes. And actually, now that I think about that, looking at all this empty space right here, could we fit another? This is a fiberglass plant. Interesting. I don't think we even have one of these. What is that? Again, that's ore into glass. We just have a regular glass manufacturing plant and a rotary kiln. So let's double check really quickly. I know this is a divergence, but thank you for humoring me here, right? So our glass manufacturing plant produces about 3,200 units per week versus 6,400. So this is literally double. I see. Okay. So what we may want to do here, we'd have to stretch this road out just a little bit. I'm willing to do that. Let's pull that back. Is that a one-way road? Okay, it is. Interesting. Do we think that that's the best route through here? It doesn't seem to be causing any problems, so I don't really want to go ahead and change up too much right now, because that's not really the focus of this episode, but definitely something that I want to kind of keep an eye on is, does that make sense, right, in terms of the pathing in this area? And I actually think there's a larger question to be had here in terms of just in general, do we want to have the primary factory spaces for our commercial spaces here, right? So you kind of have this raw material input and then this intermediary material output, right? And actually, let's go ahead and put just like a really quick small road through here. Boom. We'll see. Hopefully that doesn't ruin everything, right? And we will get rid of this tree right in the middle of the road here. But that's kind of really, all right. That's been one of my personal larger questions, right? As we kind of keep playing through this game here is, does it make sense to have our raw materials processed into our intermediary materials closer to the point of origin here, right? So our kind of intermediary factory where we take our ore raw material from this space, the point of origin, we bring it down here and we convert it into intermediary materials that then become kind of fed into our larger unique factory outputs, right? So something like, the industrial steel plant is a terrible example. Actually, it's not, no. But car factory, I think, is even more obvious, right? You have all these intermediary products that we've made, such as animal products, plastics, glass, metals, right? And you turn them into something else. It's a unique quality good, right? Or a unique factory good. So I think, to me, the strategy here seems to be leave the intermediary material producing factories and components closer to the point of origin. So what I don't want to be doing is, because we've already acknowledged, right, our primary, getting some slowdown, but we hit level 2 on our orchards. Awesome, great to see. That's definitely valuable. And we're only going at 1 speed. So our primary industrial space is going to be this large kind of, this actually looks like an independent island. It's not even really a peninsula. So it's going to be this large island, right? But what I'm concerned about is having all of our intermediary buildings on there as well, from a traffic perspective. Because if you think about it, right, like think about how much traffic, if you're bringing every single car that's coming down this road right now, like these little dump trucks full of ore, all of them have to go to that island just to get to these intermediary producing factories and then on to your final finished good factory. I think that's just going to be too much, right? Too much traffic, too much space. So my thought process here is to really just kind of make life easier on ourselves and basically not worry about it as much. Do the intermediary construction here, and then just bring the finished goods over to our larger kind of industrial area. And what you saw me doing here is I'm curious about how the traffic flow is going through here. Looks like this is actually a lighted intersection, which I don't think is what we want here. So let's kind of pull up our traffic routes here, junctions. I'm going to pull the traffic light off of that because I don't think we actually need one there. And now that I say that, let's check a few of these other places. We want to have as few traffic lights in this space as possible. Okay, I feel better about that. We are seeing a little bit more traffic up and down this road. I think if we have to, we could obviously convert this to a medium road, but I don't think we need to do that. Again, it seems like slightly odd behavior with them stopping here. I'm not sure. I want to, let's just say regular both ways. This is a one-way. I don't know why these people even have the ability to turn here. I don't think that makes any sense to me. So let's turn that off. I don't think you should need to go that way, because you can just go right on to your roundabout here if you actually need to go that direction. So hopefully I'm not completely messing things up. I want to make sure that I'm not totally destroying things. Traffic rules, roundabouts. I'll leave it that way. Okay. Huge digression though. Really, the takeaway here is basically we need to not only be able to provide all of our raw materials in this orchard space, but we also need to provide all of our actual intermediate factories, right, that we have in the farm space. We haven't unlocked most of them yet. The flour mill is one, cattle shed is one. I think cattle shed is one, right? Yeah, cattle shed is one, and then we're gonna unlock a few others, right? But our unique factory is unlocked. It's our bakery. And I would actually love to put our bakery somewhere completely different. I want to put our bakery over here near Brewer's Landing. I just think it's going to look really cool here. I know it doesn't really like make a ton of sense from a logical perspective, but I just think it's going to look great here. So that's kind of my plan. Let's actually go ahead and just place that right now so we can kind of get started working on that. I think if we run something literally straight across right here, we might be able to just kind of set this up. Ooh, beautiful. Right in this corner here. Okay, I really like that. I really like the idea of having this bakery right here. We may actually even want to scooch it down a little bit. Can we kind of scooch it right back here? There we go. And then maybe curve this road a little bit because I don't love how it's coming in here. Maybe we can kind of curve this around just a little bit so it's kind of meeting this at a nicer angle. There we go. And it is going to need raw materials, right? We don't have most of those things, so that's okay for now. We're not worried about it because we can actually bring them right down through this freight house, right? But we do need to actually set those up in other places. So one thing I am noticing is that we don't have enough workers, and I think it's interesting that we're hearing that because it looks like our unemployment rate is about 5% right now, which is, not awful. However, that's not what the game considers to be full employment, right? I think full employment within the game is probably closer to 2 or 3%. I don't know how low you can get, but what I'm hearing, right, is people employed, jobs available. There's definitely still a gap here, so we want to make sure that, hey, we're still, we're technically going the wrong way in terms of saying that we're building out more jobs, right, when we actually have people who don't have jobs, right? So we actually do need to increase our population, and that's what our RICO is telling us right here. But if I'm being totally honest with you, I'm just kind of psyched to work on this part of the game, and I think it's easier for me to put out content and definitely content that you can like tell that I'm actually enjoying, when I'm working on the stuff I'm excited about. So I think we're going to take a little bit of break and then kind of focus on our industry for a little bit. And we can come back to it. I'm not super worried about it. So clearly, actually, things are going pretty well here. And one important thing that we have unlocked right now that I do want to take advantage of is our worker barracks, right? So that's something that to me, I feel like has always really just kind of lit on fire. Not literally, but it has really helped with getting this stuff actually moving, right? And actually getting the people in the space that we need. So what I'd like to do is see if we can kind of just sneak a road kind of right along here and see if we can actually put our workers barracks in here. So kind of assume that, you have a little side road coming through here. This is a hideous intersection. We're just going to kind of leave it alone for a second because the core idea is that I need to kind of see if we can snug up some of these farmers barracks right along here, not an industry area. Okay, so we just have to make sure we go back over here, go into our industry area. And, there's a ton of farm space down here. I think we're actually going to extend this down here just in case, right? Because I do think that there's an opportunity here for some of our larger farms once we get there. But for now, all I'm really trying to do is fit these kind of right along the river. And what you're noticing is that we can actually get even closer. So let's go ahead and do that. I think if we start right here, kind of come right along here, that should be good. And then let's take our industrial road here, bring this down a little bit further, straight, and then we'll just go back to our dirt road here and essentially run this dirt road right into here. That's a garish intersection rather, right? But we'll just kind of go with it for now. But now we can go through, put our workers barracks right along here. And what's great about this is you don't really have to worry about taking up too much space, right? I was worried about taking up some of this valuable farming land here. And actually here, if we pull up our resources map, you can kind of see, but I wanted to kind of sneak them right on the edge here so we don't have to worry about that quite as much. And let's take the opportunity while we're here to just run one road right through the middle here. Boom. Kind of have a back exit, so to speak, here. I'd love to be able to line up right there, but we're not going to be able to do that. So let's go ahead. Yeah, so it's kind of how you can see how the roads turned out a little bit, kind of not playing always as nicely as possible with our railroad here, but I think we'll be okay there. So now we have a ton of workers there, and let's see how that starts to impact our worker levels as we keep going, right? I know that increases our efficiency substantially, right? So we can see these are do this little work efficiency. Ooh, they're not going to be providing any efficiency if they don't have water. So let's go ahead and add some water pipes in down here. There we go. And I don't think they need electricity. Okay, they're connected anyways. All right, so let's get back to the actual point of the episode, right? And I think we can probably start. Let's assume that we're going to want to use our medium industrial road. I don't always love doing this, but I think this is probably the easier way to start here is to just assume that we're going to want to use this, right? So let's kind of just go up, just, pick a spot. We're going to go straight up here. And then let's start kind of really following our topography and seeing how we could potentially get something up to this level. And you'll notice that I don't have anarchy on. I'm deliberately trying not to be too anarchical here, right? To come up with something that actually does make sense. So what I'm seeing is that maybe it makes sense to kind of keep coming just right up here. That's odd. Okay, I don't think that last bit really took, so to speak, right? It's not underneath, is it? No? Okay. Because that's the other thing we could do is actually just kind of tunnel right through there. How does this look so far? Let's, okay. This is a little bit rough, honestly. Let's pull back here for a second. Whoa, okay. Getting the save slow down there. Doing a bit of a jig. All right, so let's pull back here. Let's actually even pull back a little bit more and just kind of think about what we're trying to do, right? So the first step is just getting up here. So then, and that's already a little too aggressive. Let's be a little more careful here. Let's go through potentially up here instead, kind of along here, and get up through here. And we can kind of go through, and again, you know, if you take something like this, we're going to kind of force down here, and we can kind of update some of this land here. And I think that would definitely help, like down here. We can keep kind of some of the smaller bridges in, and actually I think that looks pretty cool in some of these areas. Whoa. Okay, that's actually really cool. I didn't even know that was an option here, right? But then we can also kind of make sure that we're still getting this nice smoother look. I have no idea what I just did there, but still kind of smooth out a lot of these nodes here by just selecting our nodes and then making sure that we're going to slope them, you know, as one would do. I think that looks a lot nicer, right? And the other thing you can also make sure to do is definitely, I've been doing this a lot more recently, is hopping into your node controller, checking out if you slope these nodes, they start looking way better. You know, be careful. Like, you don't want to, you know, mess with them too much. Like, specifically, you'll notice how, I don't know if you guys just saw that, but this node in the middle here, this is like literally a middle node, right? So you don't want to mess with the slope too much. You can do that if you want to through this kind of right here. You can see how it starts to impact the land. If you look at the side, you can see, whoa, getting a little nutso here, right? Actually, that was the stretch, so ignore that. Let's actually just kind of reset that. If you look at the slope, you can see how you can kind of implement your own personal twist on that slope. But what I did is I just want to go for those kind of end nodes, or in this case, they're kind of custom type nodes, and just slope those a little bit. And you can already see like what a difference it makes on some of these bridges here, right? Coming through here. All right. So here's the real tricky part. We need to be able to get into our first kind of flat layer right now, I think, right? Because what we're going to want to do is definitely, I think is start our flat layer a little bit further back here. So let's actually kind of carve into this mountain a little bit while we go ahead and do this. I'm actually going to go down to this height, kind of just push this back to about here, right? And now I'm going to go up and grab this level. Let's kind of bring all this up to this level in this area. And then we're just going to kind of start keep adding and seeing how high we can get. But the other thing is we have to also be mindful of like how much space do we actually need on each of these to build something, right? So this is where you want to be really careful, is you also have to have enough to carve out. So when we look at something like this, like let's think about this from a small industry road perspective, right? We're going to run a small industry road. Just kind of, I don't know why we got that crazy thing right here. Oh, it's because we're forcing a bridge. We don't want that anymore. Back to the ground level. So if we run something like this, just kind of like right along here, because farms are, you know, pretty flat, right? Then what can we actually fit along here? We can't fit like anything, right? So that's the other thing I think we have to be really mindful of, is that we can probably only fit one layer of things along here. We're going to want to fit it right along the back. So let's go back here. Let's kind of go right up here and then recognize that we're probably going to run something right along the back here, and then maybe connect right up in here and start that connection. Let's kind of start curving already and see what that does. Well, that again looks terrible. That's okay. We're going to kind of finesse this a little bit. Let's finesse it up to that kind of road instead. We could put a bridge in here. I don't think I love that, you know. What we could do actually is let's you know, not cut it quite yet. Let's slope these instead. What does that look like? Okay, so now all of a sudden that actually makes way more sense, right? And that's something where now we can kind of go through down here and smooth this out. Let's bring our brush size down a little bit and just kind of smooth in here. There we go. I mean, now the bridge actually makes way less sense. So maybe I take that back. Let's see what our options are. We could potentially go at least down here. There we go. Okay, so that actually makes, you know, way more sense in this case. But now look at all the space that we have. This looks a little bit odd to me. That's maybe something we want to go in and fix. So let's grab kind of our important nodes here. And then we just want to make them all go to a train height or whoops, sorry, rather to object height, then just pick something flat, you know? Ooh, I don't think I had them selected actually. So let's select our guys one more time. Okay, so now we have everyone. I'm gonna go to object height, these guys, boom. Okay, so now we should have way more space. Yeah, see, look at that, game changer, absolute game changer. Now we can put all of our crop rows right along here. So we could actually go in here and do, right? So let's just kind of throw these in right now so we get a sense of what that looks like. You can see like the scale here is going to get pretty nuts pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and actually take our tool right here. You're okay. You're okay. All right. Then actually kind of start backing this up. You know, how close can we get here? You can get pretty freaking close. That's actually way too close. But we can get pretty close here in terms of how our terraces end up looking, right? So let's kind of get right in there, and then we'll kind of smooth some of this out at the end, right? But we kind of want to get as close as we can, just kind of show the general concept, and then because this is the ground level, we can smooth it out a little bit, right? But now you're starting to get a sense of like what the scale is here. Like it's going to be crazy. So we actually don't need that many terraces, and that's kind of what I was trying to get at, is that we can really just do the one here, and then maybe do one more here, and then do the top level, right? Because we don't need it to be super intense. We kind of just want to get enough that you get a feeling for the space, right? All right, so let's kind of keep going up here. We're going to turn that back to regular, switch that over here, and then let's see how can we get up our next step, you know? And that's going to be what I kind of keep doing, is how do we keep getting up? And this to me feels like a pretty slope is a little bit too steep. Can we bring this down? Can we tunnel through maybe? And kind of come right back out here. Okay, now we're just building things and I can't see them. All right. Oh, no, I actually liked that one. Okay, so let's come around here. We're gonna have to get real finicky. And then let's intentionally go through the mountainside here. And we just kind of want to go up here. And then come around out here. Let's switch over here. And then ensure that we're actually getting up and out of the mountain, right? That's what we want to see, is up and out of the mountain. Boom. Okay, so now, see we're coming out here, right? This looks awful. So let's go back in and actually kind of touch this up a little bit, right? So let's bring a little bit more of the mountain up to this higher height here. Kind of bring this up right through here. And it's actually a little bit hard to see, but let's go ahead and actually make sure that all of our, well, first things first, let's slope some nodes, right? That'll make, already makes so much of a difference, right? Okay, so we got that. I mean, that is comical. I don't really know what's going on there. Let's see if we can grab our node in here, and then maybe that will help us a little bit. Can we get into our underground view here? I don't know if this is actually like cheating or not. Oh, it's this node. Let's lower this down just a little bit. Actually, let's grab this one, and oh, whoops, I see, because I'm over here. I didn't toggle it properly. I should have used the proper toggles. And then grab this node, and then grab this node. And let's slope all of them. Okay. So that's a little bit better, not significantly better, but I think that's okay, because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to come over here and, micro analyze this space. I mostly just kind of want to get this working correctly, and then kind of we can do some funky stuff here and some landscaping, make sure this all looks just fine. Okay, so we're up here. So now let's take this road, and I think again we're going to switch out of our tunneling concept, and we want to get up here. Let's just kind of go for it. Well, again, we can fix a lot of this, but then let's figure out, okay, so we want to come along over here, right? And let's do one along here. Again, we're just going to go through here, and we're actually going to slope all of this. Let's just kind of do one huge slope. And again, you're not going to be able to get all of it with the Move It Slope tool, but you're going to be able to get some of it, right? So actually, I don't think that helped at all. Let's change our order of operations. First of all, let's get these freaking logs off the road, because that's clearly a safety hazard. All right, you're going to make me do that. All right, connect that back up. So first things first, let's actually go through Node Controller and just slope all of these, right? That's going to do a ton. Right there, these are all middle nodes, so you don't have to worry about that, but you see where this node is messing the whole curve up, right? Because it's trying to flatten out on that space. So we're just going to kind of go through and gently slope most of these. And I think already you can tell that's actually helped a ton. That looks like so much better, right? Now, one thing we could do too is also force some of these into actual bridges. So I really like the look of the industrial bridge. I'm actually surprised at how much I like it, because it kind of looks a little bit dorky at first note. But I actually think this looks like pretty neat here. And it kind of just gives you a little bit more variety, right? So like over here, I kind of like that larger bridge there. And I think I'm going to do it over here too, honestly. It just kind of gives you a little bit more, breaks up the space, and it makes it look pretty cool, honestly, in my personal subjective opinion. So we're gonna slope that here, and then maybe one more. Oh my gosh, look at that huge freaking rock in the middle of the road. That's not gonna work. And even you, tree, back off a little bit. Okay, so I was debating whether or not we want to bring this level down. I think we might do that a little bit here. So let's actually see how much we can level this out without this looking totally nuts. If I just pick a level on the wall, right? Like, let's literally just like pick up here. How much can we level this up? Let's make our brush size a little bit bigger, and then just kind of, hopefully not totally destroy this. That brush size is a little bit too big. So let's go back and undo a few times, but then kind of catch right along here. So we're not encroaching over the road. We're encroaching enough, kind of along here. And then we're gonna pull some of this down, right? So that's kind of how it's gonna work, is we're gonna have to pull some of this down. And then let's just go through a really soft brush here and just kind of brush some of those little crinklies out there. All right, there we go. Who's complaining about water? What is the deal? Oh, I didn't unpause it. That's why. Let's just leave this unpaused, right? Ooh, we are noticing some garbage collection issues. Let's go see if we have any sort of garbage. We have a waste processing complex, but I think maybe just a recycling center down here makes logical sense to me. Just kind of throw it right there. I don't think that'll bother anyone, because you're having the complaints as well. And so are you. Okay, everyone that wants to complain about their garbage, I see how it is. Okay, and none of these are operating, or at least not that one. All right, well, let's just get rid of that one. It's an easy fix, right? It was kind of sloped anyways. I didn't really love that. Let's figure out what crops we actually want to grow. Let's do some corn up here. I don't think it really matters. If it does, someone feel free to let me know, right? That it actually totally matters which crop you're growing here in terms of like what you grow, essentially. But I don't think it actually matters that much. Okay, so now we have another row up here. This we might bring in and connect along here. So let's see. So let's see what that would look like. We're gonna again go back to our smaller road here. Don't want to upgrade, but let's bring something off over here and bring this down. Actually, switch this over. Kind of come right along here. That's what we want to see. And again, we're not going to leave it that way, but we are going to figure out something that works a little bit better for us. I don't love. Okay, first of all, that does not feel like 180 degrees. There we go. Okay, so 180 off there. Let's actually pull this back just a little bit then. Todd Street feels a little arbitrary for my taste, but Todd Street. And then we'll actually maybe curve this a little bit as we go along here. Gives us a little bit more coverage. And then, again, do the same deal. We just want to make sure that everything's on the same level plane, because I think that is preferable when it comes to farming, right? Ooh, that was a hideous mistake. Let's actually just keep selecting then. And we're going to bring all this to this level instead. Perfect. Okay. So now, how do we connect these two spaces together, right? That's the new question. I think this will actually be easier than it looks. Whoa, I don't know what that was all about. Let's actually bring that up. There we go. And then connect these guys right here. Perfect. I think there's like, honestly, one extra node in here that doesn't belong. So let's pull that out. And then we'll actually go into move it and stretch this out just a little bit more, right? It's this node is a little bit weird. There we go. Okay, got that sorted out. Let's do something about this, right? This does not look great. So this node is already, oh, it is flat. Never mind. We'll slope that. Let's grab this one and slope this. This one I think is a middle, is my guess. Yeah, another middle. Oops, let me get up. The nodes are still a little bit tricky to grab. No, actually the problem is I keep hitting the building inputs, right? It's my own worst enemy there. All right, so let's grab these and then just kind of slope these a little bit and see if that has any sort of impact on what we're looking for. Okay, so that was a pretty marked difference, but I actually like that. I think that worked really well. So let's hold off on doing anything else right now. and see if we didn't screw the pooch in terms of being able to fit enough of our farm stuff in here. So it looks like we actually did a fantastic job here. Let's go ahead and just throw some farms up here, right? And I think, again, it's the scale of this is comical, right? With at least the context of the game. But I think in terms of us and the look that we're going for, this is actually going to be perfect. And these will all be, let's do just cotton. We're going to have enough, I think, to do rows of all these things. So I don't have to worry about this too much. But we're just going to switch all this over. I do know that the greenhouses look a little bit different, so I'm kind of saving those for areas where we want that more kind of covered appearance. And I think that may come into play in a while, or maybe sooner, later. I'm not really sure. One thing we also might want to do here is actually, now that we have this extra space, let's go ahead and really smooth this out along here. And oh, hey, there you go. Boom, level 3. We're just running through it here. What I'd like to do is kind of at the end here is really smooth this out. And what I'd love to do is do our slope terrain here. We want to be able to create a slope, select the secondary mouse button to create the slope location. And then, oh, nope, that was a hideous mistake. So it must be up at the top. Nope. Man, one of these days I'm going to figure this out. Click with the secondary mouse button to set the slope location, then click with the primary, drag to adjust. I mean, getting better. But the core of what I was attempting to do was to actually bring this along over here, and let's run our water before these guys get too upset here. Run water kind of up the mountain here. I don't think that's very realistic, but we might throw another what am I thinking of? A water tower up there, right? So that would make life a little bit easier. Again, we'll try this. Slope it. Nope. Slope it. Okay. I think what's happening is that it's actually getting upset because our road is just so low here, right? So what I'm trying to do is just kind of create some steps up, make this a little bit easier. That did not help. A little bit easier for something to come through here. There we go. So it looks awful, but give us just a second. I think we can make this work. Oof. Okay. Let's back that up. Let's actually start up here and then see how can we kind of make it down to the surface. What does that look like? Out of curiosity. That is not nearly as bad as I expected. Okay. Well, we can work with that. Well, let's go back and just kind of flatten all this out then, right? Totally worked. Wow. Okay. Cool. Clearly, I don't need to do that again. But what I will do is actually go in here. Again, we'll just kind of grab our nodes, make sure we're sloping them as we want. Go over here, go underground, and I think we will at least grab this closest node. Sync that a little bit so this doesn't look quite as ridiculous, right? I don't really care as much about what's happening underground where I can't see it, you know? I know that it's probably not exactly how it's supposed to work, but I just frankly don't care quite as much. So I'm down to totally kind of sync these up a little bit so these tunnels don't look as absurd from our side, right? Let's do the same thing here. Slope that. There we go. And now we have more space at the end here. What did we just unlock? Is there something interesting we could put down here, like this medium-sized field? The space is already occupied, apparently. I understand that. Milking parlors. Okay. Cattle sheds. And we now have our flour. Oh, we didn't actually ever put down any of our flour mills. That's a good question. Do we want to maybe put something along here? Do kind of like our industrial complex, so to speak? Maybe we'll just pull. That was way too high, or low rather, right? Let's just kind of pull something off of this road here. Like that. And let's actually bring this down here. See where these intersect. Okay. Pull this Lewis Street back. Boom, boom. All right, and then let's see. Now we have some of our larger, more industrial buildings here. I think let's also take potentially a T break off of here, and then try to get another T right there. All right. Should make traffic a little bit easier through here. And I think a little barn there, a little cattle shed. Maybe the milking parlor on the other side. See how that looks. And then we'll just kind of cinch that right up. But that kind of makes sense to me. And actually, let's back this up a little bit. Nope. I think we want to stay closer to the side. And then we can put some storage right along the side here, right? That's technically grain. I don't think we really want grain, but I actually don't think it matters that much, to be totally honest with you. It's going to take in crops. They're both going to take in crops. So we're fine with just having crops here, right? Let's actually pull one of these out because I don't want to get a little crazy here. We have some crops there. We have crops here. Let's set one of these to empty because we don't really need extras. But these right here, I'm just going to set just this one to fill. Actually, let's set them both to fill. That's fine. Because what we really want to do is make sure that we have enough crops here to support these factories. We're going to go through and run our water lines as well. Boom, beautiful. Okay, so we're starting to get there. We have a few lines here. I think, let's see, traffic is decent along here. Let's see if we can do something with this road up here. And I actually think what we want to do is potentially, I don't really want to mess with this too much, but I think it would be nice to do our orchards up here. Let's see how big these orchards actually are. So we have our small fruit field and our medium fruit field. Let us switch over, I think, to our smaller roads. And that means starting here, let's actually switch over because I did not mean to do that. I'm gonna come up here, along here. And then we're just gonna kind of meander a little bit, you know? And come back along here, and connect up here. And then I think let us convert that over. There we go. So now we just have a couple oddities that we're just going to smooth out here. And we should be in a pretty decent spot. So let's go through and actually take that. We're going to force upgrade that like that. There we go. Okay. So, and let's actually force upgrade this here as well. I like the look of that. Anything else too crazy here? No, I think we're okay. Let's actually grab our node controller here. One thing I do want to do is align this corner with this. Did I actually want to do that? I think I may have wanted to do that the other way around. Let's totally restructure that. We want to align this corner with that. Oh, here we go. I think we actually want to do a little bit more work here. Let's pull this one back. Pull this back as well. Make this a slightly larger intersection. Pull that one back. And then here, yeah, I'm very okay with how this is working right now. We could make this one big loop, but until we see that we have to, let's not. Because I don't want to make this like one huge cul-de-sac any more than it already is, right? All right, so now let's go through with our land and see where we can just kind of dot this with our fruit field. I don't know why I keep clicking on our transport option. It doesn't really make any logical sense here. So I'm just going to kind of randomly throw in these fruit fields where it looks like it would make sense to me. And I think we may want to go through and actually iron out some of this road here a little bit. We might kind of go through and flatten this. Let's actually pause this while we get some of our water lines set up. Actually, you know what? Let's run it. It doesn't really matter, does it? None of this is actually running correctly anyways. So let's kind of flatten all this out. Oh, hide smooth on, not flatten. It's going to take this, I think, and just kind of go up here just a little bit. And then we will, again, accommodate with our road along here. Let's pull this back. There we go. Now we can take our road again and actually run this straight through flat. Okay, it's going to give us a hard time. Oh, never mind. Actually, I think we can make that work. And let's go curve this around just a little bit. And then, okay, so that'll actually work okay. Then what we can do, I think, is actually take this, copy this. Let's land this right over here. Do one more right over here. And then I think we can actually take these two and just lower them. Oh, I don't know what the heck I just did. Let's take this one, and then just lower them a little bit. Okay, I guess they're not going to lower because they're kind of active decals on the land rather. So let's pull those out. Let's just go to the land itself, grab something, again, take our brush size down real small, and then just kind of lower in this space right here. And then we'll kind of go through and smooth it out. And actually we can take out all these trees as well because we're not going to need them. There we go. Let's go back to smooth. I know I turned my brush strength down pretty significantly. What I'm thinking is this will look good enough that I will not have to come. Oh my gosh, I just did it again. I will not have to come back and trim this up too much to actually go through and fix that, right? Let's put, even with anarchy on, it's not going to let me do this, huh? All right. We'll just put one on the side there. I think we'll be just fine. Switch this over to apples. All apples up here, folks. Okay, and then we just have to connect up here. Actually, we can leave pears over there. Let's think about that a little bit more, actually. I'm going to remove that for now, and then we'll kind of see if we have another space. Like up here, to me, feels like another space we could put some stuff. So let's grab this. Let's go kind of grab some of our land right, I think around here, and then just kind of start to even that out. And we're trying to keep the water features here for sure, but we are trying to kind of get some growable land right along here. And we're going to have a little bit of conflict with the road because we kind of built the road before we flattened things out, but that's okay. All right, so now let's go in, and I think we just turn off nodes and segments, and we'll be able to select all these trees. Make the mountain quite bare here. And now we can add some trees to it as well. Let's see. I'm wondering if there's an easier way to maybe take, again, this little guy here and try to run some straight lines off of this. Kind of make this just a little bit easier on ourselves. Something down there. And then it seems a little bit odd. I'm not 100% sure why that road kind of fit in a slightly odd way here. Let's see if we can kind of get that all on the same object height. Okay, apparently we're not going to have it quite that easy. I think it's just a slight differential in the heights there. Let's go ahead and actually fix that one. There we go. But I don't think it'll matter all too much, especially if we just kind of go through here and smooth everything out a little bit. Smooth, 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 smooth. And then we're just going to plop stuff over it anyway, so it won't really matter that much at the end of the things. Put something right next to it there. And then we can put one more along this edge. Oh, running out of our farmland. Uh-oh. I see. Let's bring our farm just a little bit over here. Beautiful. Okay. Then we can put one more field on this side. I think even on that side. I want to try to put a small one on the edge. Let's see if this looks, let me know if this looks kind of too adventurous there. Actually, I actually like that a lot. Okay, and these are all going to be the pears. Or, ooh, oranges. All right, yeah, let's do oranges. And then actually I'm going to throw in a small greenhouse here. Just kind of the idea is like, oh, you know, we'll need something to be helping out. There's kind of a service building or whatnot. Let's actually go in here and smooth this out just a little bit kind of around the edge here. That worked out just fine there. Change these over to oranges as well. And then let's keep those pears over there. Okay. Oh, I love how they do that there too. And then let's add a little bit of storage here as well while we're up here. I don't think we need to worry too much about it, but we'll just kind of throw some up there so we have it, right? All right. Let's go through and unpause this and start putting in some of our water, right? Because we are going to need our, I literally said I was going to unpause it and then I didn't. But we are going to want our water pipes running through almost all of this, right? Let's go through. And again, I'm just kind of getting close enough. I fully admit I'm not following the roads quite as diligently as I could be, but I think that's going to be okay. So now we'll go down kind of our mountain pass here, pretend that it connects right around here. Yeah, we've gotten all the way down our mountain pass. And what I would like to do is actually put a little water tower right here. Connect that up. Actually, you know what? Now that we've done that, we don't really need this connection down here. Let's get rid of this because this never actually made that much sense in the first place. So let's just kind of get rid of all of this tomfoolery. We knew it was theater, right? And then we'll actually have these on two kind of independently constructed lines here. Other thing too is electricity. I see we're starting to have a little bit of a problem here. Let's kind of use our underground line to make sure that that's all connected up. And then we'll kind of slowly pull that along here. Oh, no sewer output. Okay, so we're not going to be able to get away with that. That does kind of make sense. Let's kind of just bring that one right down here and connect it up to our line there. Because as much as it's enjoyable to have the idea that this is all going off of like a central water tower, it's not enjoyable to have a ton of sewage backup. That's not what we're looking for. So, okay, awesome. I think we're really getting somewhere. Okay, I don't love that actually. Let's get rid of that guy over there. Let's have kind of that one pear side. Actually, let's switch this over to pears. There we go. And then let's actually kind of move it just a titch back here so it kind of lines up there. Awesome. I like that. Okay. And then we can always, throw in some fun little things. I don't know if we have anything little like decorative that we'd want to throw up here. It doesn't really, make logical sense is part of the problem. To have anything kind of up here on the mountain, but we may want to go by with a tree brush and kind of do that a little bit. And especially if you look at some of our brushes, like our let me get that out of it, but like our apple brush, we can go in and fill that again along here. Let's pull up our size and our strength and just kind of get a little bit more natural foliage in this area. I actually don't like that. There we go. But that's kind of starting to get the general idea, is that we have some trees here. But you can even see kind of some of these apple trees that are more like wild apple trees per se. But then you also have our cultivated trees as well. And then let's go, I think maybe just like right along here, let's iron out this slope. And then we will put just a few of the greenhouse options along here, I think. So let's go grab all of those. We're going to slope all of that. And then see if we can kind of throw those greenhouses right along the edge here. So if I go over here and go to this larger option, see if I put that right there. What does that look like as a greenhouse? Okay, so that actually does look like pretty much exactly what I wanted to see there. Let's see if we can fit one more along here. Maybe we'll just do the two, I think, yeah. And then let's go in and smooth out the back here, because that does look a little bit crazy. Let's get that. We actually want that to go kind of up to this level here. Get that there, and then smooth it back down. Actually, let's back up a little bit. There we go. So let's turn this brush strength way down. We just don't want that kind of like tight corner on that, you know? There we go. It's a little bit flatter. I like that a little bit flatter, rather. Let's go in and there we go. Kind of bring that side of the field down there. Turn our brush size way down, but there we go. Okay. Awesome. So we have our level up here. I think we're, what's going on here? That doesn't seem to be very effective at all. So people are coming this way to drop those goods off and then turning around. I don't like that. So let's grab some of these and put them over here. See if that helps. We'll kind of keep an eye out too if we see any like very wonky traffic patterns. What we could do is actually let's actually just go ahead and do that right now. Let's turn this into a one-way. I'm gonna actually turn all those around. But then you kind of come through here, and even that will make a little bit of a loop here, but I think that's okay, especially because you can kind of come out here, you can turn either way here, so you're not as worried about it. And then let's actually just kind of keep throwing a little bit more storage where we can. What is this? Oh, the small barn will also store things. Okay, perfect. Let's put a small barn. Actually, let's move our small barn kind of in the middle here. There we go, between the two. And then last thing is, I don't love the way that this sloping worked out here. Let's see if we can get a little bit nicer of a slope. Okay, I don't love that either. So let's maybe see, can we upgrade some of this? That just looks really wonky, doesn't it? All right, let's pull that back, see how we can connect this to this. Okay, that looks much better. Now I think we can just kind of nudge everything into place. I think let's take these two and actually push these back. Let's flatten that out just a little bit there. Go into our node controller and see what we can do here. Slope that, already way better. Middle, we're gonna leave alone. This is another middle, and then we already have this. Oh, we didn't have it sloped. There we go. Okay. That looks pretty cool to me personally. All right. So I think this is going okay. Only other thing I could suggest is maybe trying to run a road right along here. Let's just try that now and see how that goes. If we totally disrupt our traffic patterns, then we'll know that it was a terrible idea, right? Kind of go along up here, and then actually I think we want to curve that a little bit more. Bring that right along the back and then kind of curve a 90-degree in there. It's a little bit too, let's kind of pull that back and see if we can kind of get something. There we go. I like that a lot better. So it's kind of just like a little winding road, you know? I've just been using industrial for all of these. This is actually one of the few roads where I could see it being like a dirt road instead. So let's kind of slope it, see what we think. And then if we still hate it, we could turn this into a dirt road. I think the industrial roads are just a little bit easier to work with, right? All right, let's make sure all these are sloped. To middle, that one needs to be sloped. Oh, it looks so much better when they slope, don't they? This is just like such a game changer for me personally. I feel like it's been a huge contributor. So, all right, actually, I don't mind that being industrial. Let's look at it. Let's look at it as a dirt road. See what that looks like. Get our upgrade here. No, actually, I like it better as a dirt road. I think that's not too bad. it just looks a little bit more like a cut through, you know, and that's kind of what we're looking for here. This is more of a formal road here. Oh my gosh, we already have a ton of crops. Okay, what have we done over here? We have not been doing too much over here. So let's keep a little bit of an eye out over here. One thing I think we do want to do is put a few greenhouses kind of right at the front. I think maybe something like this here, we can turn that into a greenhouse, which makes sense. I think let's do the same thing over here as well. This is more for like the appearance, right? I will say, but I kind of like how that works there. And then let's put a little bit of storage in here as well. I don't know, someone else might know this better than I do, but I don't know if you can actually store crops directly in a warehouse, but that would honestly be like my preference, because I think the warehouses look a little bit more formal, you know. We're just gonna move this down a little bit, because this barn is just, you know, a little bit jokey when it comes down to it, right? But it is stores 400 tons, so there you go. All right, let's move these two over and kind of get right close to that barn there. Oh, the barn needs electricity apparently. You have electricity. You're gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. Not enough electricity. These are connected into the main grid, right? Is there an issue? Well, here, I'll just throw one more up here if we need to. Let's see, can we get one? Boom, there we go. I don't know if we're, you know, expanding our electricity usage or what. Okay, and then let's get some storage up here as well, because I think we're about to go absolutely crazy with how much storage we're gonna need. Capacity 30,000 versus 40,000. Actually, okay, so that, I don't mind that. I don't mind that up there. Okay, so now we have, oh, okay. Well, we were able to grind a ton of flour. Awesome, we love to see it. Let's throw some storage over here. We're gonna go over to our warehouses. I think we're actually gonna set up a medium warehouse along here, because I do think that we're, oh, boom, hey, level 4 already. We are just crushing through this. I thought we were gonna run into more of a worker problem, to be honest with you. But no, we are just humming along here, which you love to see. So I'm very okay with that. What I'd like to do is see if we can sneak one road right along this here and kind of bring another road along here, and then potentially connect these two up, something like that. Let's see if we can fit a warehouse in there. It should be so close. All right, let's just kind of nudge this over just a little bit. See if we can make this work, because I really like the idea of this warehouse being right in this loop. Let's, oh my god, see, that's fine. It was totally fine. I just anarchied it in, and I wanted to see what that would look like. That was an absolutely fine thing to do. So now let's bring this all right back in nice and tight here. And now we can actually do some fun stuff, because we can play with the inputs and the outputs, right? So I think over here, let's look at, get unified UI out of our face. Let's add a, actually let's duplicate, no, we don't want to duplicate. Let's add a new point. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's get rid of that. They will just spawn in the default. Well, here, I guess let's, what am I even doing right now? Okay, just refresh. We want to add a point. We want to put our cargo truck in there. Let's remove the cargo truck from there. I don't know where this point actually is. It's too far from a road. Okay, height doesn't matter. Let's move it. Oops. There we go. This way. Okay, so I think let's potentially have our inputs here, because our inputs are going to be our crops, right? Let's have our inputs be on this side, and then our outputs be right over here. Actually, outputs will be right here. So let's do inputs along this side. All right, so let's go here and go up here. We're just going to turn this. Boom, 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 boom. We'll have that be a spawn. Actually, no, it's going to be an unspawn is what we want. Duplicate that, move it over, and we can just kind of keep doing this. And now we can set up the actual spawns. Okay, let's let that run and see how that goes. Obviously, it needs to know what materials. We're going to have it set up to contain flour, I think. And what is this producing? Animal products. So let's do the exact same thing, just on the other side here. So we're going to take this, and we're going to copy it. Oop. And kind of throw it right down here. And run a road right along the back. Let's actually do that there, and then switch this to directly meet right here. There we go. And we can always cinch this up just a little bit. Awesome. Okay. And you are going to be animal products. Beautiful. Let's see if our spawn points copied. They did. Awesome. That's what you love to see. Okay. So I think we're going to leave it here for today. We've done quite a bit of work on our farming industry. We've gone to a 1-star, from a 1-star to a 4-star. Okay. Only thing we're seeing is there are some power issues here. Okay. I see. That was the power issues. It just hasn't successfully connected through these. There we go. Now we shouldn't have those issues anymore. Awesome. Okay, so we will have to figure out a little bit in terms of this traffic. This might get a little bit aggressive, so let's just kind of keep an eye on this. But our Empire Farms and Orchard seem to be doing quite well. I don't know why you don't have enough. There we go. I was like, are you kidding me? I know there's enough crops there. So we're gonna have quite a surplus here. Let's actually do a quick look. How's our farm industry doing here? We're still not turning a profit. Still not turning a profit. All right. Well, we're getting there. We now have our flour mill and all of our flour. And we actually want to empty this flour because, oh no, we can leave it balanced because we should hopefully finally be seeing down here our bakery able to work. Look at that, folks. We are making our pastries. You gotta love it. We have no place to put our pastries, actually, now that I think about it. So let's see if we can just fit a very small warehouse or even just kind of a little loading yard in, right, kind of along here. I think, there we go, we kind of just snuggle that in right there. And this can take zoned industry farming products. We are going to use this. Let's just double check and see if it actually outputs them, right? But I believe it should just drop things in there and then we'll be good to go. This is an interesting merge. I think, let's just kind of leave that alone for now. Well, we'll just leave that alone and see what happens there. Now you need crops. Okay, not a problem. Let's actually put another one of these on the other side. It's not going to quite fit, is it? Do we have anything smaller that will hold? And we can't put this. Oh, we can. Oh, perfect. Let's just put a few of those right here. And we'll actually ask them to fill with crops because Lord knows we have enough crops around. So we should be good to go on that front. Okay, folks, turning this into empty right there for our zoned industry farming products. And I think that's, again, kind of our unique factory products. That's what I want. Okay, so we should be able to hold our pastries there and we'll be all set. All right, folks, let me know what you think of our new industry. Let me know what you think of the kind of tiering here, or kind of using our terracing system. I know it's not quite what I expected it to look at the end. So totally open to any comments, thoughts, questions, concerns, personal attacks. Let me know. But if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to toss this video a like. If this is kind of content that is keeping you coming back and you want to see a little bit more, feel free to subscribe to the channel as well. We would love to have you. And I will see you next time.